About a week ago, a drama teacher that Ezra worked with asked for people to post on his Facebook page personal stories. And I wrote this for him, and it just seemed to give me relatively relevant here. I call it red buttons.
That's a good one.
Red buttons.
The coat I found under the house of my oldest brother's wife's folks. Their place was a vestige of old rural Bohemian Marin County, California, as it was transforming into the fashionable place it has now long been. You might find anything at that house. There were out-of-the-ordinary things everywhere, even until recently. There was a payphone in the bathroom, and the goat with the brass doorknobs on its horns would jump on top of cars and dent the roof in. With some saddle soap, I got the dirt and dust out of the old brown leather. The scruff stayed in. The coat suited my purpose. I was working my way in college at the time, and it cost less than my Salvation Army jeans. It was an instance of the bicycle basket theory. I called it that because I was once talking to my girlfriend as we were walking off campus on a date. I was telling her that my other older brother had said to me before I left for college that he thought, if you live right, things will come your way. And as I was telling her this, we came across a bicycle basket right there in the pathway, and I was able to say, here's a perfect example. I need a bicycle basket. I built myself junker bicycles out of the single wheel lock to a bike rack for months, the rusting frame in the vacant lot, the twisted bike from the dumpster. I paid attention and knew where many of these abandoned parts existed. For the bike I had then, a single side basket I could wire to the handlebars to carry my books to class. The buttons I found at a thrift store in a small town in Colorado. I was in rural Colorado because I had joined VISTA, Volunteers in Service to America, and at the time they were training us as community organizers. We were being trained by experiencing and working with rural poverty in the San Luis Valley. I had started at UC Santa Barbara, majoring in math, but social concerns soon drew my attention away, and I changed to an undeclared major. Issues of the day were strong: the Vietnam War, civil rights, poverty. With the shooting of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I decided sitting in an ivory tower with no apparent purpose was not a conscionable option for me, so I volunteered in President Johnson's War on Poverty. I said goodbye to my girlfriend and college and my student draft deferment. The coat stitching was fairly rotten, and the buttons had come off, so I was looking for some replacements at the thrift store. They had lots of buttons, but the coat needed large ones to replace the originals. The only ones big enough were bright red and shiny. Of course, I knew they would look odd on a guy on a tattered brown double-breasted leather coat, but there they were, and I thought they would look no worse than my self-inflicted haircuts and the rest of my Salvation Army wardrobe. So I got them and sewed them on. They worked. After training, after I was on my assigned project a short while, after my girlfriend broke up with me, my roommate and I were at the music section of Cat City Discount Store looking through LPs and waiting to meet with the volunteers from a nearby county on the same project. We needed to work together and share information, and recreation opportunities were limited. Volunteers had a lot in common, sharing the training experience, the goals and frustrations of the task, some reasons for joining. So we were meeting. In time, I became interested in one of them and pursued a relationship. Like many guys, I was completely unaware that she had long before decided that I would. As time progressed, we did fall in love with each other, but of course I could plan nothing for the future. The Selective Service had changed policies, and based on my birthday, my draft lottery number was 69. They were taking everyone up to about 100 at the time. They had not granted me the conscientious objector status I had applied for, which was no surprise, as they only gave those to members of the established pacifist religions. So I had to consider that I would probably have to do a few years prison time. It was not until after I was ordered to a pre-induction physical and unexpectedly failed that we were free to make plans and get married. She told me later it was the buttons. She had gone out with a few boyfriends in her hometown and found that they became overbearing and controlling. Later, for a variety of reasons, she had joined Vista. On seeing me there at the record bins in my absurd old leather jacket with the shiny new red buttons, she says she had a sense of relief. She thought, now here's a guy who doesn't take himself too seriously. This seemed different from her experience with the other guys. When she found I could cook, she was even more interested. So she came my way, and she is still with me after 46 years. Had I been trying to meet someone, looking in bars or frat parties or matching services or getting fixed up by friends or going to gyms or church or any of the many ways people try to meet, I would never have met her. She would not have been there. If I had dressed to impress, she would not have been unimpressed. But the buttons on my coat? Maybe I just live right. As my father would often say when complimented, I try.
That was perfect. Okay.
Okay, I need a hanky.